last call. It started out, it was in October, and we were in the basement. Michael came over, and he found this guitar. Really dope. We ended up repitching it so it sounded like this, and like sidechained it. And then I just remember Michael started writing something, and it was just like ideas or whatever. And then I gave him the idea of like, you know, since we were both like quitting our jobs at the time, like you should write a song about that. So then I think he wrote the first verse in like 10, 15 minutes. And we ended up using the first take too. Like we didn't even recut anything. He just went up to the mic once he had it, and we used the first take.
I think I need a new start. I'm quitting my job, but you knew that. I'm sick of playing the part. I'm falling behind on a new track. So I said, don't go waste another moment.
One of my favorite tricks that I do is I assign two different buses, pan them a hard left, hard right, which means one of the auxiliary tracks is in the left speaker, one's in the right speaker. I take out the highs and lows, throw staggered echoes on them, and then open up Alter Boy. Sometimes I do this where I'll make the echoes sound higher pitched, so they sound like, I don't know, kids are kind of like morphed or just distorted. But then on top of that, we have these little accents that I do for the vocal production. Super distorted. I basically just duplicated the quitting my job but you knew that to emphasize that line. And I throw Alter Boy on it, pitch it up 12 semitones, turn the formant up, and just crank the drive knob so it gives it that crunch. And then I give it a bit crusher and turn the mix down to give it like a little bit of a ring in the mix. It just kind of hits more. You can really just hear like the little ring in there. And then turn the volume down and verb it out, and it's just way in the background. So like in the mix, you hear this.
I'm quitting my job, but you know that.
So like you really can't even hear it in like the full mix, but it adds something. It just gives it a little bit more meat. And then this one's really nasty too. So right before the chorus hits, the "You Stand Tall," again, Alter Boy on that. But this time, instead of pitching it up, I pitched it down 12 semitones and turned the drive up. So it sounds like this underneath.
So you'll stand.
For me, I just like to really emphasize certain parts of the song or certain lyrics. And it kind of like beefs up the vocal rather than just having one lead vocal the whole time and then chorus. I like to like sprinkle in these like little ear candy vocal things to make the song hit harder.
Your hand, so you'll stand tall.
And then again, right when you hear him say stand and then tall is on the downbeat, we have another one that's really morphed, which sounds like this. And then just, I wanted that to really hit hard, so I threw a vintage Valhalla verb on it. Had the mix up at like 30%, so you get that tail, so it kind of like rings out for the chorus.
So, la 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 la, last call.
Again, a little Alter Boy automation on here, so this one in the background. So I automated the format. It's kind of manipulating like the tone of the vocal. I automated it up so it kind of opens up in the background and it just gives it like more color. The part that I worked the most on for this song was the lead line and the side chaining that I did at the end. So I'll open that up. So we started with this lead line. It sounded like this. Not much movement there, very just static and ear piercing. So first I took out the low end and added a bit crusher. Again, little Alter Boy with drive knob all the way up. So those three plugins added, it sounds like this. So now it's like really distorted and gross, but like you have to lock it in more. Added a sample delay to give it more image, some verb, manual sidechain compression. So take a compressor, sidechain to like whatever, the snare. So every time the snare hits now, that sound's gonna duck. So we have manual sidechain compression. We have Nicky Romero kickstart sidechain at the half note. And then we have LFO tool sidechain with at the 16th note rate. And then I added a modulation delay and a bit crusher after that. So before was this. After. What's really cool is that lead line has like a lot of different layers to it. And I actually took a piece of Michael's vocal and turned it into a lead. So what I did was I took him saying call and I just chopped it right there and had it on the quarter note. So I just went call. And then I really messed it up, added sidechain and echo and all this, and it got sounding like this. So now it bounces with the lead, and then I doubled it and took it down an octave. In my mind, like, you want everything to be in the same pocket, so whatever you have sidechained, have the same tracks, like keep the same sidechain so everything is in the same pocket. So this layer underneath has the same 3 sidechains: manual compression to the snare, Nicky Romero kickstart, and LFO tool 16th note rate. And then the lead one up here. Oh, and this other wobble layer I added. This one too. So this, I don't even know what this is. Let me take everything off. So it started like that, and then throw an EQ on it, sample delay. I put a guitar amp on it. Bit crusher. Alter Boy LFO tool kickstart. And it just gives it so much grit. It just sounds like just nasty. My favorite part of the production is at measure 29 in the second verse, where he says, make mistakes, hit the brakes. I wanted to really emphasize his writing, so I switched the drums up and really made them just hit different. So if I add the vocals in there.
Make mistakes, should hit the brakes, but I have this stick I need to in my eye. Tell my boss that I would have the time. Sorry, I'm just not the type of guy. Don't go waste another moment.
So I don't know, when I made that, I was just like, holy shit, this, like, it's so unexpected and it just hits so hard.
Able, hardly ever wanting to be stable. Cables broken, I'm wishing I was able. I make mistakes, should hit the brakes, but I have this stick I need to in my eye. Tell my boss.
I really like to, like, put things in the production that Michael's talking about, or if he says something. So what I mean by that, the song's called Last Call. When he says that, I found a sound of like a phone, and I reversed it and I put it in the background. It just sounds cool in the background, gives it some like movement, atmosphere. Here's all the little effects in the background. This is really cool. So this is like an atmosphere I took from Splice. It originally sounded like this. And like, that's cool, but like, it's not moving. It's not like in the pocket. So again, sidechain, distortion, modulation delays, kickstart, and it gives it movement now. And then then I automated it too. So the format slowly comes up and rises. It gives it like this rising effect. So then the ending, we just let it ride out with the vocal chop and the guitar and the drums. Right there to like really emphasize the last, like the ending. I added this little shout in the background and like put verb on it, so just kind of like you hear the tail with like the gritty bass, and it just So yeah, that's Last Call. That's in a nutshell like how we made it and the idea behind it. Go stream it.